Well guys, welcome back to another episode of the Duck Chronicles, and you can see the gooses and the ducks are in one of our outbuildings, and as soon as you turn the camera on they get really interested in you, I guess. They're kind of hams, and they're growing quite well. If you count the gooses, you'll see we're actually down a goose. We're missing a goose. Before we had them moved into here, we had some customers in the aviary to see them, and one shifted their foot just like that. That's all that it was. And you see how these little guys like to play with feet? One of them had their head probably like this, as best we can tell, and just that little shift of the foot ended up breaking their neck. And we lost a goose. It was only a couple days old. That's always a bad thing. If there's any upside to it, you know, we really wanted a good group of females, and we have 4 females, and we lost a male. It's still sad, but at least we didn't lose any of our true breeding stock, because one male will definitely bond up with 2 females. So, you know, it's a long time to wait for geese. It's not like ducks when you can just order them anytime, and you get a lot into them. And I only even tell you this because you guys got to be careful, and the person that did it did not do anything really reckless. Again, they didn't even pick their foot up out of, you know, they moved their foot to the side. And it was a freak thing. But they're so delicate. I mean, they were smaller than they are right now. You can see they are getting bigger already. And the reason that happened is there were 3 people in there at one time, and that should have never happened, because people start paying attention to each other and not being extremely attentive to what's going on below you, which is what you have to do when you get into any of these things. I got one of them right here, chewing my shoe strap from behind. Now, there's something interesting I kind of wanted to show you. We can get everybody to kind of come back over here. Goose, goose, babies. If you pick one up and they start screaming, watch what happens. Now they won't do it for me. The other day when I would grab one, yeah, when they hear one screaming, they all run. They don't know why, they just know somebody's yelling and they're worried about it. So they're all over there. So what's actually useful about that for me is when I'm ready to leave, a lot of times, if I have them all around me, I'll pick one up so that they all kind of run off. But I want to turn their fan back on. It's kind of stuffy in here right now. And I'll kind of explain to you why they're in here as we go take a look at the adult ducks. I had that fan off because it was noisy. But they have their heat lamp at night. During the day, as long as it's not raining, we have the windows open and a good cross flow going. It's still plenty warm in here. But warmth is the big reason they're in here. It's not cold out, but it's been raining every day and a lot. And they're just not ready to be out in that rain yet. When they're little fluff balls like this, they can go down so fast if they get matted up wet, and they're not able to find a good place to get warm. So they're staying in that building for right now. And take a little walk across the property here and go find the other ducks, and I'll show you how much rain we're talking about. I mean, there's standing water everywhere. The whole place is a mud hole. If they were a little older, they'd be having a blast like the adults are right now. And we actually have a mallard with a brood of eggs. I'd like to show you her, but I don't think I can do that today. We're hoping she hatches soon, or we're going to start worrying about the viability of the eggs. You can see, as green as it was, it's gone mental since this couple days of rain. And even the small swales are still holding water. Big swales are full. And that means it's duck season, right? It's happy duck season. Everybody's happy when it's like this, including me, because I don't have to fill swimming pools. I haven't filled a swimming pool yet this week, and it's Wednesday. And you see it's all like little canals for them. And in the morning, man, after the breakfast sprouts, in they go. And it's a party. But, you know, maybe we can squeeze in going and see Little Brown. Little Brown's the mallard with babies. We only got about 4 minutes on the video, and I can get over to her. I think it'll kind of impress you. There's our lazy muscubbies that don't do nothing. That big silver muscovy there, we've named him Elvis. Say hi, Elvis. Yeah. Yeah. Big discussions. Irises are blooming. I can show her to you, but if I have to walk all the way around, it's going to be an awful lot of nothing on the video. So I'm just going to show her to you through the fence where we have her. We didn't put her here. She just appeared. And when we tracked her down, eventually this is where we found her. And by then she had a full clutch of eggs. So I took this piece of corrugated metal and wired it to the fence to give her a shelter. And I was a little worried with all this rain she might get flooded out, but she picked a good spot. You can see she's see if you can bite me through the fence. Yeah, I don't want to upset her, but there's no doubt that that little bitty duck, she's like half the size of the rest of our ducks. You can see her fanning her tail out, trying to make herself look bigger. That is one defensive girl, and we call her Little Brown. And baby, I really hope those guys hatch for you, because you've been there so long now. And we're not really sure when she laid them, but she's coming up on a time frame where we're gonna have to know there's been 28 days in it. And if they don't hatch then, we may have to take them from her. But usually they know if they have dead eggs, they push them out of the nest. So you can see how upset she got. I haven't wanted to, you know, candle the eggs or anything and really upset her, so I've left her be. And that's all she has for a shelter there. But it keeps her pretty dry, and she's a duck, she can handle it. We gave her some food and water. And we're doing our best to keep the main flock out of this paddock for as long as possible before we let them back in. Show you a few other things before we wrap up today. Got mulberries booming here, another mulberry there, sand cherries. One of our sand cherries that's really done the best so far. I don't know if you can see there, but it's literally covered with green cherries right now. They're about half the size of a regular cherry. Muscadine coming up. Planted locust trees all along the fence row. They're doing good. So we'll have shade, fuel wood, beef otter, and edible blossoms out of the locust trees. Rosa rugosas are already starting to bloom. We should get a lot of rose hips this year. Fruit trees went in. You can see the willow tree is just blowing up there. And that little swale is just overflowing. So we won't be dumping any of the wastewater into it until this dries up. But you can also see there these platforms we built. I've got 6 of these platforms now that dump into small swales. Each one with a tree planted in it. There's one right there. So that we're not over fertilizing and dealing with too much moisture. And that's helped clean things up a lot until, well, you know, a week of rain. I think we got, so far this week, it's Wednesday, and if you count Sunday as when it started, so Sunday through Wednesday, 8 inches, and there's more tonight coming. Nowhere near what they got down in Houston with the flooding, but it is a mucky mess. As you can see, the plants are loving it. There's some Easter eggs. Got my mud boots on. Picked those up for Dorothy. I'm sure she'll be happy to have more eggs to wash this evening. But yeah, we planted all these Rosa rugosa last year. This is a great medicinal, and it'll eventually become a hedgerow. Maybe even a living fence if the ducks ever let it happen, but they like it so much they browse off the bottom, so that's fine. Anyway, we'll catch up with you again soon. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Take care.